What's up? We're live. We live, everybody. I'm so excited. And I just want to, I'm so excited and I just can't hide it. I am excited because I've got the beautiful Karen on, and she is very talented. She wears a lot of hats. Not only is she a lawyer, but she's also a newly author. So today we're going to talk about her book called The Pill. So I'm very excited about that. And if you guys can bear with me a second, I have to go ahead and say that again to my radio audience. And then we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Hey, Karen, how you doing?
I'm good, Dee Dee. How are you? Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you ready for the holidays?
I am mostly ready. Just have a few more cards to send, but mostly ready. Everything's wrapped up. I'm looking forward to it, drinking my eggnog and watching Christmas movies.
Awesome, awesome. So, what's up, everybody? This is your girl, Dee Dee Walker Live. And again, I'm repeating everything I just said. I am actually live. We live. We are live on 106 TBC Radio at the same time that we are live on Facebook. And I'm so excited because we're going to talk about this fabulous new book called The Pill. And I'm going to tell you guys, just to give you a hint, I'm sure everybody wants a pill in their life, okay? So Karen, when did you start writing?
Oh my. Oh boy. Looking back, I feel like I've always been writing something. Even as a kid, I was writing poems or writing little stories. And I have years and years of notebooks that I've written kind of snippets in and snippets of thoughts and musings. So I've been writing for quite a long time now.
Oh wow. Oh wow. And let me ask you a question. So, like I mentioned earlier, you are an attorney and now you're writing. So, like how does that feel, just not really switching over, but adding to your portfolio, so to speak. See, I use portfolio.
Well, it's just another skill, and you kind of add on to it. As a lawyer, you're trained to look at multiple sides of an issue, and you're kind of trained to look at multiple vantage points. And this kind of comes in handy when you're fleshing out characters because you're kind of looking at it from the characters' points of view as well. So um, you've got all those different ways that you're looking at something. And then as lawyers, we're trained to concentrate on an issue and be careful with our word choice and to really, get into your writing and develop it and be a storyteller. So it really has been a skill that I found very useful being a lawyer and also an author.
Oh, cool. So, for those who listen to Everything Amy, she has
Yes,
a motivational show. I love it to death. And you was
I
just
do too.
recently, she's awesome. You were just recently a call-in guest of hers, and you were talking about your book, The Pill, and something you
Yep.
mentioned in there that kind of took me. I was like, oh, I like that. Can you tell us a little bit about the corner?
Oh, well, it's funny how it came up. We were talking about like things that kind of inspired us as children. And I was telling her when I was a kid, I had Karen's Corner. And um, my family and I, we would unwind from the day in our family den. And I'd sit at our bench, at a wooden bench, and I'd kind of create and write and draw and all of those kinds of things. And I would put on the wall of our den just all these pictures and a newsletter with a comic strip. And it just was kind of what I was thinking about during that time period. And it was usually seasonal. And my parents were very patient that they let me take up the whole wall of the den. And it was really funny. It was, in fact, when it was time to kind of change it out, my parents and my mother would be like, okay, this has been up for a long time. Now it's time to change it. So she would even kind of spur me on to change it. and spur me on to think about what was next. So I think that's very important to encourage children to use their creativity and their imagination.
Yes, yes. And with everything that we going on now, I'm sure that we've got so many young children like yourself that they might not have a corner, but they might have a little spot in their house that their creativity that just goes through the roof, which is I'm like everybody needs that in their life. I
It's
have
true.
to
It's true.
being that you're a new writer, who are some of the people who are your favorite writers?
Oh boy, that list is long. And it kind of takes you back through kind of your journey of reading and writing. I was an English major when I was at Fisk University, and I love Toni Morrison and how she infuses mysticism in her work. I love Zora Neale Hurston and how she hones in on dialogue of her characters, and you can really tell that she was an anthropologist because you really would take what characters were actually saying and develop that. And I love the world building that Octavia Butler, who is a science fiction writer, she does. And then recently, like Marlon James, I love his poetic, beautiful language. It really spurs you to be very intentional with your word choice and really develop something beautiful that people can embrace. And then the other thing that I like that writers do is to use geography as a character. For me, DC is a very important part of my writing. I'm from Washington DC, and so it
Ooh,
becomes a character in my writing. And so writers who use geography as characters like Walter Mosley and Tiffany Yannick. So those are some of the writers that I kind of look to and get inspiration from.
oh, I love it. I love it. And I love the name of your book, The Pill.
Mhm.
That's interesting. How did you come up with a name like that?
Well, it kind of went to the story itself, but I wanted to pick a very simple something that people would easily recognize and everyone would be familiar with. But it's a pill is something that's simple, but it's complex. It does these things that we who aren't scientists don't even know what they're doing. And it kind of makes one think about all the kinds of medicines that we take and have taken, and what they do when we do ingest them. So I really wanted to pick something that was familiar to people, and then would make them wonder, what is this about?
I love it. I love it. I love it. So now that you said all of that, tell
Yeah.
us about the book, The Pill.
Oh, okay. It is about a doctor, and she invents a pill that restores youth, and it causes her to have this immense wealth. And this wealth causes complications for her, but the pill causes complications for her patients that take it. So it sounds simple enough to take a pill and revert to a desired age, but then their side effects and then their family dynamics to consider. So, for example, people who may be 70 and they take the pill to revert to being 22, then, if you're a grandmother, now you're the age of your grandchildren. And, what are those family dynamics going to look like? And then you kind of think about, all right, well, if it's this customized pill, then it could be very expensive. And so it would be available to only a few. And then because it's available to only a few, then there are problems that could arise from that as well.
And in your book, and I'm going off of the interview that you had with Amy. And by the way, I'm going to tell you guys at the end of this interview when you can catch that interview again, because you're going to love it because they really go into the book. But one of the things I noticed, the names of the characters, and they were very interesting to me. How did you come up with those names of the characters in your book?
Oh, well, the main character, her name is Naomi Morning Glory,
More.
And that kind of yes, and that signifies to the reader that there's something otherworldly happening with her. So there's something going on with her. She's not the run of the mill kind of person. There's something special about her. And then there are other characters such as Bertrand Angenois and Espacio Ranjas, and their names are compilations of names that I got when my husband and I went to a wedding in the Bahamas, and we were at a plaque. We were at the airport, and at the airport there was this plaque, and there were all these interesting names on this plaque. And I kind of took from those names to come up with these names because the characters themselves are from the Bahamas, and I wanted to ground them in um, that area. I wanted to ground them in the area. And then one of the other characters is her name is Caprice DeVoe, and I wanted to signal her transformation from her real name, which is Martina Sheminsky, to something new and shiny, but has this artifice. So you know that there's something that she is that she had to make up.
Mhm. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So there was I know Amy asked you in the question, she said something like, she said, what age would you like to go back to? So I got two questions. It's a two-part question. What age,
Okay.
if you took that pill, what age would you like to go to? And what age would you like, oh my God, if I went back to that age, I would just die. So you can answer, this a two-part question.
It's a two-parter. Okay, well, I thought about this a lot in relation to the characters themselves. And for some of the characters, it was, what if they needed to remain young for in order to earn a living? So with athletes or actresses, what if they needed to remain a certain age? And so for them, it wasn't just vanity; it was about survival. And then what if you took the pill, you were able to um, avoid a debilitating illness? Then for them, it was also about survival. So for me, when I'm thinking about, like, what age in, my journey that I'd like to revert to, I'd have to say, well, what would be my objective? And at every age there's a thing that you really like. There's a wonder when you're a kid, and as a young adult you're experiencing all these new things, and all the heartaches and the heartbreaks. So I don't know. And then as you get older, you have like this wisdom, hopefully, and this tact that you use. So if I had to pick one, I for me, it's like each stage was a great age. So it's hard for me to pick one, but I could pick an age that I definitely don't want to revert back to. And that would be one of those teenage ages, like 13, 14, 15, those awkward teenage ages that you can have, those are hard ages for it was for me. I don't know about other people, but it was for me.
It was horrible for me. I was a tomboy, you know. I'd rather go out and do skateboarding, hockey, and stuff like that. And my mom, she wanted me to do other things that was frilly, and I'm like, ugh. So I don't
Yes,
know.
it was
For me,
hard.
it
Yeah.
was hard. It was hard. But for me, if I was to go back to a certain age, I think
Yeah.
25 seemed like to be like I'm
Mm,
to to make my decisions, and if I and especially if I have what I know now at 25, ooh, I'll be
yeah.
fierce.
I know. Would that be something?
So what is your favorite part in the book?
Oh boy. That's a tough one because for me, I have themes that I kind of liked from the book. Like learning that regrets are futile, and the theme that you can't relive your past, and also the theme of embracing the good that you have in front of you as opposed to like always trying to reach for something else. Um, and then the theme of your adventures and really being in the moment of your life. And then the theme of seeing your parents as humans and with frailties. So for me, one of the endearing things that I found when I was writing it, that was surprising to me, was how the relationships of the characters unfolded. That was very endearing to me, and I liked that, to see how the relationships of the characters surprisingly unfolded. And don't want to give too much away, so I'll say I'll leave it at that.
So we don't want to give too much away, but
Yeah.
I think I'm at liberty to do this because you and Amy were
Okay.
talking about it, and it was a part where you said you would clench your pearl.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Sure,
I
I
know
know
the
some.
part you're talking about.
Yes, yes, you guys. The book is juicy. Not only does it get your imagination going, there's some juicy parts in there that make you clench your pearl. So, but I'm not going to
It's
go into
that
that
is
because.
true.
But we're not going to go into that because we want you guys to read it, and hashtag me and tell me. So hashtag me at the only Dee Dee Walker. So after you wrote the book, it's amazing. I can't wait for there's a sequel to it. Is there going to be a sequel or?
It is a trilogy, so I am working on the part two of it. So yeah, there's a continuation of what's going on with the main characters and introducing a few new characters and how the main characters interface with them. So yeah, it's going to unfold in surprising ways.
Okay, awesome. And what about a movie? You see a movie coming out of this?
Uh, I would love, it's funny, as a, when I write visually, I see things and then I write down, what I see. So for me, yes, I actually would love it to be a movie, but you never know, hopefully one day. So we'll see.
Awesome, awesome. Here you have it. We have Caryn Hines on the line right now. She wrote an awesome book called The Pill. Very interesting. We can't wait to clench our pearls about it. And you guys go out and get the book. Karen, could you let them know how they can get the book?
Sure. It's available on Amazon. It's The Pill. And my name is spelled Caryn, Caryn Hines. And it's also available on my website, which is thepilltrilogy.com.
Awesome, awesome. And for people to look you up and to kind of
Yeah.
follow you so you can let them know what's going on and updates and stuff like that. How can they do that?
Oh, I am on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And you can find those links on my website. And my website again is thepilltrilogy.com.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. I love it. So I'm not going to keep you too long, but I do want everybody to know that if you guys would like to hear the entirety of everything Amy's interview, definitely check it out again, 12 o'clock on Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. And she goes a little bit more in detail into the book. Karen, I want to thank you so much for coming on this show. You are
And
amazing.
Dee Dee, thank you. And Dee Dee, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I love talking to you. So thank you.
Talking to you, and guess what? I want you to come back when part two comes out, part three, and of course the movie. And I hope I get a part in the movie.
Uh-oh. I'm sure there's a part.
I love you, dear. Thank you so much. Mwah.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye.